repeatedly.
This is a fun game for me because I'm a Southern California native who currently lives in Dallas, Texas. So split right down the middle, couldn't be any more impartial. Everybody's in the proper place. All we're doing now is waiting on the time to click down to 0. Skating and non-skating officials where they need to be. All the skaters are on the track and ready to attack. Next whistle, ladies and gentlemen, will start the jam.
And on that jam line is Lambo Arfides for San Diego. He's going to be skating alongside Dr. Feelgood for Texas Outlaws. Both of these jammers, regular jammers for their respective teams. Dr. Feelgood making his way to the front. But Lambo Arfides with a diagonal on the outside, earning lead jammer status for San Diego.
Lambo quick around the track, already in a scoring position for Santiago. Runs into a quick four-wall put together by Texas. The Outlaws doing some work with Tip and Diamond up front. Divers jumps in. Here goes Dr. Feelgood on an initial pass. Lambo taps and calls, puts 3 on the board for San Diego. And ladies and gentlemen, we are underway. MRDA in the house here at Big O 2016. B standing on the jam line for the Aftershocks. The Outlaws roll out John West, a.k.a. Johnny Two Braids.
Yesterday, he was Johnny One Braid. Both of these jammers also a part of their regular rotations. Both of them very powerful jammers, largely built, very forward-leaning style jammers. And with a shoulder, B-Sang is forced to recycle on the outside all the way back into the apex.
Johnny West forced to do the same thing coming around turn 2. Both these jammers trying to find some space, but B-Stang, first jammer through, lead jammer for the Aftershocks. B-Stang on the outside, catches a bump by Archie. 1, 2, 3, 4 points put on the board for the Aftershocks, quickly jumping out to a 7-0 lead over the Outlaws.
Coming up in this next jam, it's going to be Waterboy wearing number 93 for San Diego Aftershocks, and that is going to be number 26, Eckleberry Jam for Texas. Eckleberry fondly referred to as the tenderizer ladies at home.
Eckleberry Jam working laterally, trying to find a crack in the four-wall put together by the Aftershocks. Stretched out around turn 1 and has to recycle. Quick acceleration of the pack, jumping into turn 3. Here, lead jammer Eckleberry Jam for the Outlaws. Waterboy up front going up against the Tip and Rhino, and Kyle Divers pushed out by Diamond. Back block is the call against Diamond.
Captain number 4, Tip, looking for a cut track call. He did not get it. It was no pass, no penalty. Meanwhile, Eckleberry Jam puts 5 points on the board for Texas and calls it off.
Back on the jam line for jam number 2. Lambo Arfides, he's going up against the Enabler. Enabler's first time on the jam line for the Outlaws. Looks like the Aftershock running a tight 3-man rotation right now. Texas stretched out to a 4-man rotation. Lambo dancing around the outside, tried to spin away but fell off the track, had to come back in behind Atomic.
And it is the Enabler earning lead jammer status. Penalty box is empty. We do have full track for roller derby.
Enabler knocked off the track but got 3 before exiting. Those 3 points have our first lead change of the day. Outlaws 8, Aftershocks 7, 25 minutes to go, period number 1.
One of the things that I enjoy about MRDA Derby, that is the camaraderie that these men share. It's a very small group of folks comparatively with the WFTDA, and there may be highly competitiveness, but there's always smiles on everyone's faces. B-Stang jamming for San Diego alongside Dr. Feelgood. Dr. Feelgood earning lead jammer. Both of these men sharing a little bit of a laugh and a little bit of a smile before the beginning of this jam, but now it is absolutely all business. As Dr. Feelgood reaches the back of the pack and begins his first scoring pass, he is forced to recycle on the outside through the apex and now into the straightaway.
Five-point grand slam by Dr. Feelgood, who did a little aerial act over turn 3. One hand touched out of bounds, but nothing else, so he'll continue to go on. Lots of room on the outside for 4 points that time. Then he quickly tapping in the hips and calling off the jam. A nice 9-point jam for Dr. Feelgood. The Outlaws with a 10-point lead at the 24-minute mark.
We've got number 8, Johnny West, on the line for Texas. He'll be skating alongside Lambo Arfides. Texas with a slight pack advantage of 4-3. And as I stated, we are now even on the track, 3 blockers apiece. And Lambo Arfides, with some feety work himself, is gonna earn lead jammer.
Such a quick step to the inside by Lambo, able to get the feet back on the track and explode through turn 2 to get that lead jam locked up. Now Lambo looking to put points on the board for the Aftershock. Greeted with a shot by Shane Turner at the 4th whistle, but all 4 points recorded. Another outstanding jam by Lambo. On the jam line for the Aftershock, number 93, that's Waterboy. Taking on Eckleberry Jam, 26 in black.
We thought we were gonna start this jam on the pivot line. Just kidding.
Eckleberry Jam knocked off the track by T-Dog, recycles to the jam line. Comes back on, does a little shimmy shake to the outside, but unable to solve that singular block put on. That's the plumber doing action on the back with the pivot. Out in front, Waterboy, chest to chest against Tip. Discards Tip to the inside, and he's going to go through as lead jammer for the Aftershock.
Waterboy getting some offensive help there from one of his blockers. Again, that looks like, oh my goodness, looks like Payback. Payback giving that assistant to Waterboy. Waterboy being pushed to the inside by captain number 4, Tip. Penalties of flying. We'll see where they land as we set up for the next jam.
Pack advantage is going to be for Texas, slight in just one skater, but 2 blockers out there for the Aftershock, 3 blockers for the Outlaws. That's going to leave plenty of room for 2 skaters to know how to use it. B-Stang for the Aftershock, and the Outlaws are going to put on the enabler, but not before we have a quick official timeout.
This official timeout is going to be brought to you by S1 Helmets. S1, they make the best helmets and the best pads for roller derby. They are now introducing the S1 Pro Knee Pad, thoughtfully designed with comfort, durability, and function in mind. And we are down to an even pack, a micro, if you might.
2 blockers aside in the box. That means 6 skaters total. Very fast step, and both skaters exploding off the line. B-Stang is your lead jammer. The Enabler right on his heels. They're going to make the lap, and they're going to come up to a scoring chance right now. Enabler to the inside. B-Stang to the inside. Both skaters registering 4 points on the board on that pass. Enabler with a half a track lead on B-Stang. Enabler, a low block penalty coming in hot around turn 3 and 4. Power jam time now for the Aftershock. B-Stang trying to figure out where to get back on the track, who he has to recycle behind. He's coming all the way back around 4 to get behind G.I. Joel and Tip. B-Stang catches a bump from Atomic, but shrugs it off and gets through. That's going to count for 5 points, Shady Hawkins.
You were right, that is 5 in the sky as B-Stang looks to take advantage of the continued power jam for San Diego. B-Stang pushed to the inside, forced to recycle onto the outside. He does roll around on that outside line, putting 5 additional points on the board for San Diego. Meanwhile, the Enabler has made his way out and through, putting 4 on the board for Texas. This jam continues to move along at a very quick pace.
Just before the completion of that jam, Boo collected a direction of play penalty. So it'll be a slight pack advantage for the Texas Outlaws. Lambo Arfides jamming on the jam line for the Aftershock. The Outlaws have Dr. Feelgood.
And Lambo Arfides wasting absolutely no time, putting his shoulders in and pushing the Texas wall forward to the front of the pack.
Nice step through on the inside. Dr. Feelgood lead jammer for the Outlaws. Oh, and a penalty. Forearm is the call on Lambo Arfides. Power jam time now for the Outlaws.
Dr. Feelgood with a quick look over to his bench while he puts 5 points on the board for Texas. After this pass, he completes, putting 5 on the board, and that is a lead change as Texas Outlaws move forward 35 points to Aftershocks 31.
Feelgood chipped on the inside, quickly makes his way back on the track, avoiding a track cut. Dr. Feelgood through for 5 points. Fast moving pack. Diamond shouts out to his blockers to slow down the pace as Lambo Arfides comes back on the track and is engaged with the pack, looking for a little bit of offensive help while Dr. Feelgood comes through for another 4-point scoring pass, bringing his total 19 so far. Aerial maneuver by Lambo Arfides to get initial pass completed. Now it's scoring time for the Aftershock. If he can get his hips past the other blockers, that's not going to happen though. Dr. Feelgood tapping and calling. 23 points on the jam for the Texas Outlaws, and they quickly jump out now to a 48-31 lead. 17 minutes, 36 seconds to go, period number 1.
Credit going to Lambo Arfides for the quick initial pass and really putting the pressure on Dr. Feelgood, stopping the bleeding of points. We move on. Johnny West wearing the star for Texas Outlaws. He's skating alongside Waterboy, number 93, for San Diego Aftershocks. Both of these jammers really pushing the pack forward, but it is Johnny West coming out ahead, earning the lead jammer status.
Pack at a standstill at the turn 2 area. Johnny West crashes into the back and gets refuted. Has to call off the jam. No points awarded to either side in jam number 10, so we'll roll on to jam 11. B-Stang switching from blocker to jammer for this one. He'll go up against Eckleberry, jam number 26 in black.
Penalty box is completely empty at the beginning of this jam. Both blocking sets for each team are full. Until that very moment where Kyle Divers will take a seat in the Texas penalty box, dropping Texas down to a 3 while B-Stang is still trying to make his initial pass. He rolls off of number 4 Tip, moving his way through the pack. Pack speed increases, but it is Eckleberry Jam with a burst of speed, earning lead jammer.
B-Stang knocked off the track at turn 2, has to recycle back behind Diamond. Diamond trying to trick B-Stang into a cut track, didn't happen, but Eckleberry Jam up on front puts 5 points on the board for the Outlaws. As Divers returns to the track, Tip gets popped for a elbow penalty, so he'll go 30 seconds. Only 3 blockers on the track for the Outlaws. Diamond with a nice hit, opening up a window for Eckleberry Jam to come through for 5 more points.
Texas blockers and defense trying to get themselves together to put themselves in a good position to draw out this bridge that they're creating now. Kyle Divers at the back of that bridge trying to draw B-Stang all the way back into turn 1. He does so as B-Stang pushed back to the outside and forced to recycle once again. Eckleberry Jam just making his way through, using the speed and his size to his advantage. A little bit of a smaller guy, he is able to make his way through some of those smaller holes. B-Stang, though, after a shoulder from Kyle Divers, shrugs it off, makes his way out of the pack. 5 more points on the board for Texas Outlaws, making that a 20-point jam for Eckleberry Jam.
Largest jam point total of the contest for either team. Adam Eckleberry Jam, as he's known to his homies, putting 20 spot on the board, 68-31, 14-15 left to go, period number 1. We got an official timeout.
And this official timeout is going to be brought to you by Sin City Skates. Over 25 combined years of on-track derby experience. SinCitySkates.com is where you're going to go to find out this information. 100% staffed, owned, and managed by currently rostered roller derby players since 2005. Sin City Skates, where customer service is the name of the game.
Shady Hawkins at the 18-minute mark of this game. We had a very tight contest, and then the Outlaws kind of exploded, first with a little bit of penalty trouble from the Aftershock and allowing Dr. Feelgood to throw 19 on the board. Then Adam Eckleberry Jam comes out and just slams home 20 in inside of 2 minutes, and boom, just like that, we're doubled up 68-31 by the Outlaws.
I think this is definitely a part of the Outlaws' plan. This is what they talked about. This is what they wanted to happen. Of course, the penalties, you never want penalties to happen, but sometimes they do. It's really what you do with it and how you make up for the mistakes that you've made on the track. And what they wanted to do is come out, put up points, and be consistent. And I think we're seeing them kind of fall into a little bit of a rhythm. And it's going to be interesting to see how San Diego kind of copes with that rhythm and closes up those holes. As I mentioned earlier, Eckleberry Jam, a little bit of a smaller kind of a guy. And sometimes that can be a disadvantage, and other times that can be an advantage. And you can find those smaller holes. So San Diego really going to have to kind of talk to each other and see, look, you know, we really need to use the fact that they are a team of very big guys. And they need to use that to their advantage to push forward in this game.
Teamwork, energy, and effort can help you overcome penalties when it happens on a blocker level, but there's not much you can do when your jammer is sitting in the box and not able to put points on the board. And the Aftershock kind of found themselves in that situation a couple of jams ago where Dr. Feelgood put that 19 spot up. And as long as either of these teams manage to keep their jammers out of the penalty box, they're at least giving themselves a chance to succeed.
I absolutely concur. Jammer penalties can make or break that scoring attempt.
We've officially taken care of whatever official business needed to happen, and we are back to action right here on track number 2. The enabler jamming for Texas. Lambo Arfides once again out there for the Aftershock. Micro pack advantage for the Outlaws, and they are able to exploit that with a quick explosion for lead jammer, the enabler. Ducking under, hit to the outside. Enabler glides through for 5 points in the sky.
And the enabler with a apex jump around turn 1. He scoots his way around, turns to take stock of the pack, realizes he's good to go, continues on, puts 5 points on the board additionally for Texas.
Star stash by Lambo Arfides. His initial pass is completed. Now Lambo looking for a scoring chance. That's going to squeak through and count for 4 for Lambo Arfides. The enabler now working hard back and forth to try to get those 4 points back, but once Lambo came cruising again, it was time to call it off for the Outlaws.
The enabler acknowledging Lambo Arfides and realizing, hey, yeah, you got me. You came up on me pretty quick there.
B-Stang is the jammer on the jam line for the Aftershock. Dr. Feelgood for the Texas Outlaws. With a crack on the outside and a slide step to the inside. Dr. Feelgood, lead jammer. Nice pop by the plumber on the outside, forcing off Dr. Feelgood. He's going to recycle back around turn 2 in the apex. B-Stang sprung through on the initial pass. That's going to be call-off time for Dr. Feelgood.
San Diego absolutely doing a fantastic job, but once they escape that pack for their initial pass, they really turn on the jets and put that pressure on the Texas jammer, preventing that second scoring pass from being completed.
93 in red and black, that is Waterboy. Taking on Johnny West, number 8 in the black jersey from the Texas Outlaws. Slight pack advantage, 1 blocker in the penalty box for the Aftershock. Johnny West through, lead jammer for the Outlaws. Not sure if Johnny West hurt his wrist or wants to be fed a little more, but he's wiggling it a little bit. Stepping around a block by Boo. There goes Johnny West for 5 in the sky. That's a grand slam. Up front, Hemkulias gets nailed with a forearm penalty off to the box for 30 seconds of reflection. Johnny West looks across and gets coaching from the bench to continue on and not call off the jam. Waterboy's first pass is completed. Now it's a scoring opportunity. Waterboy slams into Matomic at turn 2, now going up against Shane Turner at the apex. Jumping back in front is Matomic, and there goes John West again for another 5 points. John West shaking that hand, some serious discomfort going on there.
A lot of discomfort. This pack is just bending one way, bending another. People entering the box, people coming out of the box. A lot of recycling to the front by both teams. Waterboy chest to chest with number 9 Rhino. Rhino with a penalty for his trouble.
Back block was the call on number 9. And now a skating out of bounds penalty for Waterboy. So that 5-point registry for Johnny West is about to get compounded. It's power jam time for the Texas Outlaws. 7:20 for Johnny and another 5 points. That, my friends, is a 29-point jam for the Texas Outlaws and Johnny West as they explode to a 40 point. Let's try 111-40. San Diego Aftershocks trailing the Texas Outlaws at the 9-minute mark, period number 1. And we got a timeout by the Outlaws. Ladies and gentlemen, while we got a quick moment, let's talk about some of our amazing sponsors. And those sponsors include in no incredibly awesome order, but they're all equally awesome. Roller Derby Solutions. Get your league on track so you can focus on skating. Check out Roller Derby Solutions. During the timeout now, San Diego has raised their arms and are going to go ahead and look at an official review. Let's talk about our friends at Tieback Production Services. Tieback. They're here producing all the awesome sound, audio, lighting, all the things for the production we're having here. Give a shout out to the folks at Tieback. And Left Turn Clothing. Uniforms that move with you. That's Left Turn Clothing. Ladies and gentlemen, now that we paid the bills, let's talk about some fun stuff. If you're not busy at 8 p.m. tonight, Saturday night, the Big Old Bowl Jam will be happening at Washington Jefferson State Park, hosted by Unity Skate Shop and Chicks in Bowls. There's going to be giveaways, games, and good bowl skating. That's 8 p.m. tonight at Washington Jefferson State Park. Then after you've got a quick shower from your bowl skating, head on over to Blair Alley Arcade. There's going to be an 80s dance party. No cover, 10 p.m. It's going to be just steps away from the Big Old Bowl Jam at 245 Blair Boulevard. So tonight you got plenty to do outside of watching this phenomenal roller derby we have at the Big O. We hope to see you out there. I know I'm going to be enjoying some arcade games and adult beverages.
All right, so San Diego was requesting a review of the call, the skating out of bounds call on B-Stang. They were stating that he was knocked to the infield by black number 9. Black number 9 was then called on a penalty, sent to the penalty box. He should have been able to re-enter legally, so they were contesting that call. However, the officials did decide that, yes, though he had been hit in, he skated across the infield and significantly cut his lap short, and it is not permissible to do so. Therefore, he did receive the skating out of bounds. The call will stand, and San Diego will lose their official review.
We're going to start this jam with Waterboy in the penalty box. That means power start scenario for Dr. Feelgood of the Texas Outlaws. Whistle blows and the skaters roll. Dr. Feelgood surveying a quick moving pack around 1 and 2, looking for an opening to explode through. Outside seems to be shut down, so we're going to go center of the track and then tiptoe to the inside. Dr. Feelgood gets the lead jam position. Dr. Feelgood down a scoring position. Comes to the outside of the 3-wall put together by the Aftershock. Four wall. Math is hard for some announcers like me. 2 blockers solved. Now Feelgood waiting for a cavalcade of outlaw blockers to step through.
And I want to go ahead and correct myself that was not on B-Stang. It would have been on number 93, Waterboy, as jammer of that previous jam. Please accept my apologies for that.
One blocker in the box for the Outlaws. Slight pack advantage as we move into jam number 16 of period number 1. Texas Outlaws have Eckleberry Jam going up against Lambeau Arfides. Lambeau jumps out front. Eckleberry Jam dancing back here towards the pivot line. Kyle Divers back on the track. Both teams at full strength. Both teams are putting on a nice defensive show around turn 1 and 2. Now B-Stang trying to slow down Eckleberry Jam. Eckleberry looks to the inside. Now back to the middle. Good bridge work done. What a clockwise block. That penalty was given to B-Stang.
And with a burst of speed, Huckleberry Jam does put 5 points up on the board on the inside line. He's going to continue to move his way around as one of Texas blockers, G.I. Joel, takes a seat in the penalty box, dropping this to a 3-on-3 defensive game.
Tip gets hit with a track cut penalty off to the box for 30 seconds. He will go 2 blockers on the tracks. Light pack advantage here for the Aftershock, but Eckleberry still in a very dominant scoring position. Kyle Divers with a monster hit on Lambo Arfides. Now Shane Turner up front doing the dance, but Shane Turner gets nailed with a forearm penalty.
And you get a penalty, and you get a penalty, and you get a penalty. Everybody's getting penalties this jam.
I'm happy we don't get penalties here in the microphone, or I feel like I would have gotten one for over-ramblization. .90 points separating the two teams at the 5:50 mark of period number 1. Enabler for the Outlaws. The Aftershocks have B-Stang, who is pretty much playing Iron Derby at this point, either as a jammer or as a blocker. B-Stang really has not left the track very often, still with the energy to fly through and pick up lead jammer for the Aftershocks.
Both the Enabler and B-Stang putting points on the board for their respective teams. Texas blockers, revolving door, the penalty box. It's really assisting San Diego in closing that point gap. They are able to match Texas point for point. B-Stang deciding to call that jam off, putting an additional point on the board for San Diego. San Diego, 17-point jam for the Aftershocks. 12-point jam for Texas Outlaws.
5 points closer to closing the gap for the Aftershocks. Hoping to continue the momentum. It's Waterboy for San Diego. Texas has Johnny West on the jam line. We'll go 4 blockers to 3, slight pack advantage for Texas at the whistle.
Mr. Taco and Kyle Divers forcing Waterboy to recycle back into the apex. He comes back with a vengeance as Texas wall gathers together. Meanwhile, Johnny West earning lead jammer. Waterboy pushing past Diamond to complete his initial pass. Johnny West with a little bit of a slide in turn 2. He is able to recover and re-enter the track. Taking direction from his bench, he calls it off and puts 4 on the board for Texas, holding Aftershocks to 0.
Dr. Feelgood jamming for the Texas Outlaws. San Diego Aftershocks put out Lambo Arfides. Empty penalty box as we start jam number 19. 5-on-5 is the recipe for this 2-minute time exchange. Dr. Feelgood pushing up front of turn number 1. Lambo Arfides. Quick aerial maneuver over the apex, gets lead jammer. Here comes Dr. Feelgood right behind the Lambo. Both skaters fleet of foot as they make their way around. Lambo spins and backs into the pack, taps the hips and calls off the jam, resulting in 0 for either side.
Dr. Feelgood putting the pressure on, breathing down Lambo Feedy's neck, forcing him to call it off. Great track awareness there by Lambo Arfides. And we have a timeout by San Diego. Ladies and gentlemen, here and at home, we just want to remind everyone that the Big O is a WFTDA recognized tournament. The WFTDA recognized tournament program recognizes and supports high-quality WFTDA member-hosted tournaments worldwide. The WFTDA 2016 International Playoffs and Championships dates have been set. Mark your calendars for Division II. Division II is going to be taking place August 19th through the 21st. And August 26th through the 28th, the first taking place in Wichita, Kansas, the second in Lansing, Michigan. Make sure if you are planning on attending D2 playoffs that you do so. Book your room, book your flight.
Book your excursions.
And with that whistle, we begin jam number 20 in this first period. B-Stang on the line with the star for San Diego. Eckleberry Jam wearing the star for Texas. And Eckleberry Jam taking advantage of the inside number 1 position. He is going to be lead jammer. Diamond trailing back further, hoping to draw a cut on B-Stang. He is unsuccessful. B-Stang taking advantage of the spread out pack. He is able to make his way through. Kyle Divers gonna take a seat in the penalty box for Texas, giving pack advantage to San Diego. And Eckleberry Jam with a track cut, power jam, Aftershocks.
Period clock 3 seconds ahead of the jam clock, and we'll see how much of this jam clock can be utilized for point scoring by the Aftershock on this power jam. A nice block there by Diamond, but it didn't happen legally as Diamond goes to the box for a direction of play penalty. So B-Stang 4 points on that pass through. Kyle Divers forcing off B-Stang out the front stretch. He comes back in, recycle behind the pack. 3-wall put together, including Mr. Taco, G.I. Joel, and Kyle Divers. Penalty was killed. 4 points were awarded, 5 points awarded for B-Stang on that. And then B-Stang knocking off Eckleberry Jam. Trying to trap Eckleberry back behind, but then Eckleberry getting back on before the rest of the pack can catch up. So we're back to the same track position as we were seconds ago. That, ladies and gentlemen, halftime.
Just like that. Kind of snuck up on us. We are confirming the score. That was a 14-point jam for the Aftershocks. Exactly the momentum that they needed going into halftime. Aftershocks 75, Texas Outlaws 159. We'll be back for the second period of Texas Outlaws versus San Diego Aftershocks. MRDA Derby. See you in 10 minutes.
The Arius Platinum is packed with new features. Reinforced toe section. Increased toe stop clamping power. Winged truck with split cushion design for easy assembly and installation. The new Arius Platinum, performance redefined.
Hey, this is Dan from S1 Helmets. We're in the testing lab today testing helmets to see if they pass the multiple impact certification test. We're going to be testing 3 helmets today. There's a soft foam helmet with EVA foam and a terry cloth liner. There's a hockey helmet with triple density EVA foam. The S1 Lifer helmet with EPS fusion foam. All 3 of these helmets are marketed as multiple impact helmets. We're going to test all of them today and see which ones actually pass the test. The multiple impact test is when we drop a helmet to achieve a velocity of 4.57 meters per second. This simulates a 10-mile-an-hour impact or a 4-foot drop. The same helmet is tested 3 times in the same location. The helmet must reduce the energy pulse to under 300 Gs each time. Anything over 300 Gs can result in a traumatic brain injury or a severe concussion. In summary, the soft foam helmet with EVA foam and the hockey helmet with triple density foam did not pass the multiple impact test. The S1 Lifer helmet with EPS fusion foam did pass the multiple impact test.
At Roller Derby Athletics, we take the guesswork out of off-skate training so you can focus on being fierce. We help you transform your game without a lot of time or equipment. With 5 training programs plus all-star memberships, there's an option to suit every athlete. And we train skaters worldwide with high-quality video instruction and online support. At Roller Derby Athletics, we empower you to be safe, strong, and unstoppable. Want to see for yourself? Sign up today for our free Basics Builder program.
Hi, Ivana Spankin and Trish the Dish here to tell you about Sin City Skates. Sin City Skates began in our living room in 2005 and has since grown into this 2,000 square foot warehouse and showroom where we stock everything for derby. If it's derby related, we probably have it. Need help? With a combined on-track derby experience of over 24 years and still playing, we test everything we sell and we know the difference between facts and our opinions. We're always happy to share both with you to help you make the right decisions. So call us, sincityskates.com.
I love teamwork when it comes naturally, and it's almost like your teammate is an extension of your own body. That anticipation, where you've worked cerebrally through strategy and skills, and suddenly you're out there in a game and it all comes naturally because you know each other. I love that.
So when I first went into Fast Girl Skates, it was like being a kid in a candy
I skate
shop.
on the Antic AR1 boot with Crazy Venus plates and add-on B-Rod wheels.
As I've grown as a skater, Fast Girl has also helped my skates to grow with me.
What's your favorite thing that you got at the store?
Probably my gear.
I'm Double Banks and I'm a Fast Girl.
I'm Vex Factor and I'm a Fast Girl.
I'm a Salted Peanut and I'm a Fast Girl.
I'm Afro Jamra and I'm a Fast Girl.
You can be a Fast Girl too.
Skaters, lost your mouth guard? Hit this. Time for an upgrade? Hit this. New to Derby and not sure where to start? Hit this. We are Derby owned and operated with 6 years of experience. Hit This Derby Gear can hook you up with skates, gear, and honest advice based on your skating style and individual needs. Visit us at our store in Salem, Oregon, or online at www.hitthisderbygear.com. Whether you are a new or veteran skater, before you hit the track, hit this.
Hi, I'm Trish the Dish, and this is Ivana Spankin, and we're here to tell you about Sin City Skates. Sin City Skates began in our Las Vegas living room in 2005, the first shop ever dedicated to roller derby, and has since grown into this 2,000 square foot mecca in San Diego, where we stock everything for our sport. Need help? With a combined on-track experience of over 24 years and still playing, we test everything we sell, and we're happy to share that experience and knowledge with you. So contact us, sincityskates.com.
Hi folks, Scald Eagle here. Have you had a chance to take a look at the new Bonk Quadstar skate? The boots are ultra lightweight with no break-in period and are great for skaters with skinnier ankles. They also have a 100% Australian full-grain leather outer and a completely heat-moldable hand-laid fiberglass base. Get that premium performance without the premium price tag. Boom. Come over to the Bomb booth right now and check out this rad new skate.
Just about ready to kick off period number 2. The San Diego Aftershocks taking on the Texas Outlaws. The story of period number 1 was penalties.
A clear path through the pack almost never exists. So we fight and make our own.
Here on the track. You got Tip with 5 penalties, Rhino with 4 penalties, Kyle Divers with 3 penalties, making up the most penalty-heavy side for Texas. And then you got 4 skaters for San Diego with 3 penalties. That includes Payback, Plumber, and T-Dog, each with 4, as well as number 3, Boo. But a lot of time spent in the box by the blockers, which is opening up track position for jammers to put points up on the board, Shady.
And a lot of that was definitely in the last few jams, right as we were ending. So the penalty box was just, I mean, the doors were open for business and blockers were sitting in it. And that really impacted the game, and it really allowed the jammers to kind of just do their thing. The last like 2 or 3 jams were actually fairly high scoring jams, and it's because blockers were sitting in the box. So if that continues, the point differential isn't going to change all that much, but we could see a higher scoring game.
If either one of these teams manages to get their discipline in check and get their blockers on the track as opposed to sitting on the bench, we could see a swing either way. Right now, the Outlaws enjoying a 159-75 lead as we get ready to start period number 2. That whistle is going to start the jam with Lambo Arfides for the Aftershocks squaring off against Dr. Feelgood.
Both of these teams with clear rotations of jammers. Dr. Feelgood,
aerial
leap in the air.
You can't teach that. Dr. Feelgood flying through the air, sticking the landing on the initial pass.
Lambo Arfides, however, is going to be lead jammer. Dr. Feelgood, though he may have come out of the pack first, he did not have that status. Lambo Arfides, on the other hand, was able to do so, taking advantage of a no pass, no penalty on Dr. Feelgood.
Both jammers deciding not enough track space for them to utilize, so they're just going to go ahead and fly. Jumping apexes left and right, sticking the landing.
That's a common theme with certain group of jammers. B. Stang, 3158 for San Diego Aftershocks. Number 8, Johnny West for Texas. Johnny West on the inside line, toe stopping his way through to lead jammer.
Johnny West quickly catching with the pack and now putting points on the board for Texas. Gets dropped outside by Boo, has to recycle around the apex. B-Stang, he made his initial pass. Now John West is going to turn and face B-Stang and show him that it's time to call the jam off. But he waited just until Taco got out of the box so that they could have a full-strength blocker core coming into jam number 3.
That's called playing a smart game, making sure that you have your full complement of blockers. That is Waterboy, number 93, going to be jamming alongside Echoberry Jam. Two totally different jamming styles. We're going to see how this plays out. Echoberry Jam having a little bit of a hard time in the back of the pack against San Diego's 3-wall, being forced to recycle to the inside. Meanwhile, Waterboy being forced to recycle to the outside by Diamond. Echoberry Jam, though, there you go.
Kyle Divers headed to the penalty box. Penalty number 4, Echoberry Jams through. Now he's going to get his dance on to try to see if he can put points on the board for Texas. Lots of room on the inside. That's going to count 5 points registered. Taco for his second trip to the box in so many minutes. Track cut is the call on Waterboy, however, so it is a power jam for Echoberry Jam. Two blocker for Texas, 3 blockers for San Diego. Texas has the most important thing on the track, though. That's a jammer, because that person puts points on the board.
Texas deciding to play a little bit of a passive role, forcing San Diego to bridge out through the apex.
And again, Taco able to slip out of the penalty box right at the 4th whistle, so full complement of blockers again for Texas to start jam number 4. 10-point jam there, and a power start now for Texas, 179-79. The 100-point differential separated the two teams.
Number 151, the Enabler, going to take advantage of a power start situation as Waterboy remains in the penalty box. However, he is standing and is then subsequently released. Enabler, though, is going to earn lead jammer as he begins his first scoring pass. Waterboy removing the cover, successfully passing it. B-Stang, your new jammer of record. Enabler putting 4 points up on the board for Texas. B-Stang dons the cover to begin his first scoring pass. Enabler with a hop and a mohawk through. 4 points for Texas, but not before B-Stang is able to put 2 points on the board for San Diego.
Penalty box is empty, ladies and gentlemen. We got 5-on-5 action here. Track number 2. Texas Outlaws put Dr. Feelgood on the jam line, going up against Lambo Arfides from the San Diego Aftershocks.
Both of these jammers do an excellent job of turning up their speed and sprinting in short distances, really confusing the pack and causing it to break up a little faster than they'd like to. Dr. Feelgood having lead jammer status. I know if you're watching at the feed at home with these two jammers so close together.
And Dr. Feelgood gets tricked into a very questionable track cut call, but Lambo Arfides ready to take advantage now.
Lambo Arfides and his bench absolutely proud of him in this moment. San Diego going to take advantage of a power jam.
Not a terrible amount of damage done on the power jam for the Aftershocks as Dr. Feelgood gets through for 4 points. Lambo Arfides matches with 5, actually one more than Dr. Feelgood put up, but there goes Feelgood for 4 more. So right now 8-5 is your jam total as we come around turns 3 and 4. Lambo Arfides to the outside, jumping back to the inside around a block by the tip. That counts for 4, but the lane wide open for Dr. Feelgood to get points on the board. They're starting to put him up faster than I can say it. Lambo Arfides sliding under a block by tip and collects a low block penalty, but injured himself on the play. Derby fans, I don't know if you know this or not, but there is a raffle happening right here. The Big O raffle, you can purchase 1 ticket for $1, but if you buy 20, you get 10 free, so that would be 30 tickets for the price of 20. Grand prize winners will be picked at 7:45 on Sunday, just before the Team USA men's bout. Grand prize, 2 RollerCon MVP passes, which allow access to all training classes. RollerCon's in Las Vegas, Nevada, July 27th through the 31st. Passes will also be raffled off separately. Another grand prize is the Bont Quad Star Skate Package. That package with FX1 wheels valued at $319. Moda backpack and wheels, toe stops. Big O t-shirts, 2 tickets to the 2017 Big O, skate nooses, Noodles and Company gift certificates, gear discounts from Notorious Red. We got Radar wheels, Halar wheels, Roller Derby Athletics 1-year membership, Sin City Skates 3 gift certificates, 200 to 150. We got Lifer helmets, D-pads, and Racer backtrack, S1 headbands. A whole lot of stuff that's going to be raffled away at 7:45 p.m. on Sunday, so get your raffle tickets now. You'll be seeing folks all over the place selling them. Get as many as you can afford. While Lambo Arfides is being evaluated by the medical staff, he did collect a low block penalty there at the whistle. So you're going to have him go get evaluated by the medical staff, and B-Stang will take his place in the penalty box as the jammer. It'll be a power start for Texas Outlaws.
You are correct. The officials were having a conversation about wanting to understand exactly what just happened. So he will be assessed the low block, but due to the kind of confusion around the action, they were assessing whether or not he was going to attempt an apex jump. It looked like he decided to go ahead and try and stop that action, but his momentum then carried him forward. So they just wanted to confirm what was seen. So in that event, B-Stang is going to take a seat for the low block that he would have received.
But he won't be there long. Johnny West right off the jump, getting hit with a forearm penalty. So as soon as he hits the chair, that's going to release B-Stang out to be the jammer on record for the Aftershocks.
And B-Stang off the shoulder of Matomic is going to earn lead jammer. Rhino with a shoulder check to rejoin with his wall. And Johnny West making quick work of the inside line on his toe stops. Able to push his way through is B-Stang, putting 5 on the board for the Aftershocks.
Forearm penalty on Boo. That'll be his 4th penalty of the contest. B-Stang through for 4 points. Johnny West was through for 4 points before. On the inside, there's another 4 by Johnny West. 9-8 right now. Point totals for both teams, with the Aftershocks enjoying a slight point advantage. And at the whistle, Pound Town with a forearm penalty, so he'll go to the box for 30 seconds. 3-on-3 will be the blocker positioning. We will have 2 jammers on the track, so both teams can put points on the board for the first time for the San Diego Aftershocks. Ladies and gentlemen, it'll be Blackmail on the jam line. Take it on, Eckleberry Jam.
And that jammer's going to be Eckleberry Jam, wearing number 26. Interesting to see a new jammer in the rotation this late in the game. Eckleberry Jam thrown to the inside by San Diego's defense. He pops right back up, though, after being recycled on the inside. Blackmail on his first time out, collecting a high block penalty. He'll take a seat in the penalty box.
A lot of forward lean on that block from Blackmail, and he got his head too far engaged into the combatants in front of him, collecting that high block / maybe blocking with the head style penalty.
And that gives Eckleberry Jam the opportunity to earn lead jammer. And he's going to take his first scoring pass as the only jammer on the track in a power jam. And a shoulder at the front of the pack forces Eckleberry Jam out and to recycle all the way around. Texas setting up for the return of Blackmail as Blackmail hits the back of the pack. He is knocked down. Eckleberry Jam, though, making his way through, putting 5 more points on the board for the Outlaws.
Blackmail's initial pass is completed. Eckleberry Jam on the back stretch, on his knees on the infield, forced to tap his hips and call off the jam before Blackmail put any points on the board for the Aftershocks. So 5 points on that jam, number 7 for the Outlaws in period number 2. 2:18 to 1:03, 18:40 to go, period number 2. B-Stang, the Iron Man of the Aftershocks, on the track in the jammer position, going up against the Enabler.
The Enabler wearing 2 numbers on his calves, number 86 and number 16, representing the 2 Tims of the Texas Outlaws team.
Both of those very good skaters out with knee surgeries, so Enabler showing much love to his fallen guys. And while we talk about him then, we'll talk about him enjoying some time in the penalty box for 30 seconds of reflection. B-Stang, power jam for the Aftershocks.
And this is exactly what San Antonio was looking for. San Antonio really wanting to try and create some momentum to close that gap that has accrued between the Aftershocks and the Outlaws. Jam going to be called off here as 5 points go up on the board for the Aftershocks.
On the jam line for the Texas Outlaws, number 28, Dr. Feelgood.
And for San Diego, that's Lambo Arfides.
Obviously cleared by the medical staff to continue play. Lambo Arfides, lead jammer. Lambo Arfides, all of that work for 1 point, but that's one more than the Texas Outlaws scored on jam number 9. Texas still doubled up on San Diego, 218 to 109 with 16:30 to go in period number 2. Lambo Arfides still with the energy to go one more round. This time he'll be taking on none other than Johnny West.
Texas with the pack advantage, and it shows. Johnny West is able to make his way through and earn lead jammer status. San Diego with only 2 blockers on the track, now 3.
Pinballing effect as there are skaters all over the track littered, but a back block penalty that started it all on Johnny West will mean power jam time now for Lambo Arfides.
Since Johnny West was lead jammer, we will go the full 2 minutes of this jam. Number 180 being called on an elbow, being sent to the penalty box for Texas. He will be in the queue as number 9 Rhino, the only blocker left on the track. Number 9 will also earn a penalty as well. However, he has been instructed to remain on the track due to a full penalty box. He has now been waived off to serve that penalty.
Every skater on the track currently for the Outlaws awarded a penalty in this jam.
Number 180, Shane Turner, also going to be reporting to the penalty box to serve his penalty since he was also in the queue from the beginning. Matomic and Corey Pound, now the defensive end of this Texas team for this jam, as Lambo Arfides comes back around, and an apex jump, putting 4 on the board for the Outlaw. 5 on the board. 4. There it is. 4 on the board for the Outlaws. Aftershocks. Words are hard.
Johnny West back on the track. Lambo Arfides on the track trying to pump up the supporters from the San Diego Aftershocks. And we've got an official timeout. We got to get some scoring information correct here with our non-skating officials. And after the cavalcade of penalties to both sides, I can imagine there might be some conversations with the administration on how those were doled out.
This official timeout was to discuss the scoring of that last jam, and we do have confirmation. 28-point jam for the Aftershocks. That goes towards that momentum that I was talking about just a moment ago. Aftershocks really wanting to pick up some momentum, have some big jams like this to close that gap.
Ladies and gentlemen, while I've got a moment here during this official timeout, I want to run through some thank yous. If you haven't been over to Vendor Village, I highly recommend going over there and spending all the extra money you brought with you to Eugene, Oregon. Check out Adam Wheels, Bont Skates, Bruce Skate Noose, Castle Mega Store, Derbalife, Fast Girl Skates, Fingers Duke, Flat Track Revolution, Green Monster, Hit This Derby Gear, Living Colored Duct Tape, Left Turn Clothing, Moda Skates, Rydell, S1 Helmet Company, Steel Web, Superfit Hero, and Trixie B. True. Selected merchandise will be available all weekend long. Bay Area Derby Girls, Minnesota Roller Girls, Rose City Rollers, Texas Roller Girls. You can find some TX MRD merchandise as well. I'm sure San Diego's got a little bit of clothing stashed away if you need to purchase.
Indeed, moving forward, that's going to be Huckleberry Jam on the line for Texas with B. Stang wearing the star for San Diego. Full track has now been achieved with an equal complement of blockers. Shoulder by Diamond in turn 2. It will earn him a penalty and a trip to the box. He will not be alone, however. Aftershocks number 229, Rowdy Rodbuster, going to take a seat right next to him. Announcer's curse gets him every time.
Huckleberry Jam, initial pass completed. B-Stang, reverse skate out of the pack. 4 points awarded to B-Stang, then 4 points put on the board by Huckleberry Jam. Texas Outlaws, slight pack disadvantage, but that's lots of room out there for the B-Stang to make his way through for another passing score. B-Stang knocked off the track by Diamond in reverse. Way out of turn 2. He's going to have to recycle very far to get back behind the Texas Outlaws. Directional play penalty on G.I. Joel. And again, we hit another situation once again where every skater on the track for the Texas Outlaws collected a penalty.
You are correct. They're playing the penalty box dance right now. We are going to have an official timeout to sort the penalty box out for just a moment.
Mr. Taco appears to be ready to be released from the penalty box at the whistle, but at the whistle, it will be a 2-blocker to 1-blocker advantage for the Aftershocks, with Lambo Arfides on the jam line for the Aftershocks, taking on the enabler from Texas Outlaws.
And just to confirm for those of you watching at home, number 4 for Texas, Tip, has fouled out. Micro pack situation as we're going to be entering jam number 12. We're coming up on 11 and a half minutes left in this period. 11 and a half minutes is a long time of derby. Lambo Arfides taking advantage of the small pack size, earning lead jammer status, but hot on his heels is the enabler. Both of these jammers, high speed. Lambo with a hit to Matomic. Atomic shrugs it off. Enabler with a hit. That gets shrugged off. We reset. Pack speed picks up. Thank you for the breeze, gentlemen.
Our official review for the Texas Outlaws. A lot of you folks here inside the venue are watching this live, but some of you are tech savvy and want to jump on the live stream broadcast that's happening by Tybach Production Services. We want to thank them for filming and live streaming all of the events. If you're on your social media, live tweets are at ECRG, Twitter, ECRG underscore the Big O, Facebook, ECRG.TheBigO. Hashtag all of your pictures and comments with hashtag the Big O 2016. And don't forget Big O Cats and Big O Dogs hashtags. DJ Agent Meow is going to be rocking the Wheels of Steel for us, not only here at the tournament, but at the after party as well. And we want to thank WFTDA for bringing modern roller derby into the homes of millions of viewers. That'll be happening with 2 games on here Saturday. So jump on ESPN and support it.
All right, so Texas asked for the official review, and they were reviewing the actions of the Red Jammer. Their contention is that the Red Jammer, after Black Jammer, the enabler went down. The Red Jammer did not make an attempt to change direction, and they're seeking an embellishment call on Red Jammer for actually changing direction and going into the Black Jammer as he was down, looking to draw a low block penalty on the Black Jammer.
And the results?
The results of that, as are being explained and discussed, the officials went back, looked at it. There were officials that had eyes on the situation. They discussed, and based off of that, they agreed that the Red Jammer had the opportunity to change directions safely, and in fact had changed directions to go into the Black Jammer. Therefore, they will award a misconduct embellishment call to Lambo Arfides. He will take a seat in the penalty box. This will be a power start for Texas, and the Outlaws will retain their official review.
We're ready to go. Power jam time for the Texas Outlaws. Dr. Feelgood on the jam line all by his lonesome. Dr. Feelgood slipping through. Apparently tapped a toe outside the track. That means it's track cut, and he'll go to the box for 30 seconds. Lambo Arfides rolling in reverse. Coming back onto the track from serving his penalty for embellishment now. Accelerating through, ducking under a hit. Lead jammer not awarded to Lambo Arfides. Must mean that they did give the lead jam to Dr. Feelgood previous to penalty. Feelgood back on the track and engaged with the pack. We are full strength 5-on-5 coming around turn number 3. Both jammers knocked off the track, and it's a team recycle. Feelgood dips a shoulder coming on through. No points awarded there, so we do not have a lead jammer. That'll be back block city there by Dr. Feelgood as he goes through Lambo Arfides. Lambo spiraling back and forth around a block from Divers. Forearm call there on Diamond at the whistle. 5 points awarded to Lambo Arfides, bringing his total to 10 on the jam. 2:38, 172, 8 minutes, 30 seconds to go. Period number 2. Power start now for San Diego Aftershocks. B-Stang on the jam line. Slide pack advantage for San Diego at the whistle. B-Stang right around the block from Rhino. That's going to be lead jammer for B-Stang. B-Stang gets redirected by Rhino. Now G.I. Joel and Shane Turner trying to complete that 3-wall up front. That's a 5-point scoring pass there for San Diego. Dr. Feelgood now back on the track and through the pack on the initial pass. Back block penalty on Rhino. B-Stang through for another 5 points. That's 15 total on the jam so far.
Dr. Feelgood with an additional 4 points on the board. Not to be outdone, though, that is B-Stang putting 4 additional points on the board for San Diego.
B-Stang taking a huge hit. And we have whistled up 19-20 points for the Aftershocks. The Outlaws with 8, 246-92. 6 minutes 30 to go, period number 2. Next whistle starts a jam. Lambo Arfides on the jam line for the Aftershocks. The Outlaws have Johnny West. Johnny West, crack cut is the call. I believe he believes he stuck the landing. Matomic's going to enjoy the seat next to Johnny West, so pack advantage and jam advantage now for San Diego. The Outlaws, dare I say, reeling from a plethora of penalty calls over the last 4 jams. Forearm is the call on Himcules. Low block penalty on Kyle Divers. 5 points on the board from Lambo Arfides. Lambo trying to get around a block from Mr. Taco. He's now joined by Matamic up front, but he ducks under both of those blocks. Another 5 points for Lambo.
Johnny West taking a seat in the penalty box.
And a track cut penalty at the whistle on Lambo Arfides. San Diego throwing up the hand for an official review as they've trimmed the lead 40 points. Only separating these two teams with 4 minutes to go. That is not anything close to a safe lead for the Outlaws. Official review time. So let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, at 8 p.m. in Washington, Jefferson State Park, there's going to be a big old bowl jam. Skate park having fun by all kinds of bowl skating. Chicks and Bulls will be sponsoring this along with Unity Skate Shop. They're going to have giveaways, games, all the skate time you're looking for, 8 p.m. tonight. And then just after that will be our 80s dance party at Blair Alley Arcade, 10 p.m. no cover. That's 245 Blair Boulevard, just steps away from the big old bowl jam. Derby fans, I want to give kudos and thanks to the Big O Tech team for making the magic happen behind the scenes. Much love to Izzy, Jake, Grimes, Bernard, and Ryan. You guys are doing an awesome job, and we really appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, looks like the official review conversation has transpired. Shady Hawkins, tell us what you know.
San Diego was challenging the cut call on their jammer, stating that the initiating blocker had gone out, or even that he had never gone out to begin with. OPRs got together and determined that by positioning, he had in fact gone out, but it was only by a very small amount. It was very quick, and that the initiating blocker only went out after he had already stepped back in. Therefore, the cut will remain and San Diego will lose their official review.
Both jammers explode out of the penalty box and quickly attack the pack in front of them. John West to the inside. Hop, skip, and a jump through. Lead jammer for the Texas Outlaws. A determined Johnny West is an unstoppable Johnny West, and he proved it on that jam.
Johnny West going to go ahead and put 4 points on the board for Texas Outlaws. With that little bit of an official review, Texas hopefully having an opportunity to sit down and have a talk with each other about the amount of penalties that they had received. Hopefully San Diego took that opportunity as well, as again, the story of this game has been the penalty box door open and closed all night long.
An extremely important penalty assessed to Lambo Arfides for a track cut violation. So Johnny West on a pass for power jam scenario. Johnny tapping the hips and calling off the jam to preserve some power start opportunity for Adam Eckelberry, the Eckelberry jam. A nice 14-point jam put on the board by Johnny West. We'll see if Eckelberry jam can continue the momentum power start scenario.
Eckelberry Jam taking a moment to assess the situation, coming up against a two-wall of San Diego blockers. Texas putting blackmail at the back, trying to keep the pack towards the back, forcing San Diego to bridge out forward as Eckelberry Jam spins his way around, earns the lead jammer. Meanwhile, Lambo Arfides has returned to play. Lambo Arfides, though, receiving an illegal procedure. I believe it's going to have something to do with the star pass. He's going to take a seat again in the penalty box.
Eckelberry Jam already putting 5 on the board for Texas. Looking for some help from his offense. Matomic jumping in to help split up the wall in front of Eckelberry. Eckelberry Jam quick through for 5 points. Much to the chagrin of Boo for looking for a track cut there.
Lambo Arfides with some fancy footwork, making his initial pass. Eckelberry Jam showing some balance work there on the inside, toe stopping his way around, putting 4 on the board for Texas. That's going to be 4 points for the Aftershocks, 3 additional points for the Outlaws, 17-point jam for Eckelberry Jam.
277, 213, 32 seconds to go. The Outlaws with the points lead in period number 2. We're looking at jam number 18. That'll start after this San Diego Aftershocks timeout. Next game on this track will be Minnesota taking on Vancouver. Some more MRDA action for you on track number 2. Shady Hawkins and I are going to take a stroll on over to track number 1 to hang out with the folks from Texas and Angel City. But we got this game to conclude, and we got one more jam in store at least.
A rare empty penalty box start for both of these teams. It's like we're starting from the beginning. Pile up in straightaway number 1 The Enabler sliding on through, earning lead jammer. Sliding off of the sport court onto the concrete is Beastang. Beastang was unable to return to the track. The Enabler, seeing that the period clock had reached 0, went ahead and called that jam off.
Pretty devastating hit there by Pound Town on Beastang. Coming around turn number 1, Beastang popped up off of the concrete. Looked like he was okay, but once he hit the sport court, whatever his body went through on that hit took its toll, dropped him down, and he's over there receiving medical attention.
Well, the score has been announced final. While we await medical care being administered to Beastang, for those of us here in-house, let's please give them a moment to make sure that he is okay.
Congratulate your winners of this game, ladies and gentlemen, the Texas Outlaws.
I don't know about you, Captain Motorboater, but I am exhausted after watching that game. So much effort, so much hard-hitting action.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the San Diego Aftershocks. To echo,
we are so excited. It's like we're mind melded. It's like we do this a lot together.
just say the words I'm going to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stick around with us here on track number 2. Coming up, we're going to have, as we stated before, continuing MRDA action with Minnesota and Vancouver. That game's going to start right at 4:30. Time to Derby is 22 minutes, almost on the nose. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you back here shortly.